Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? So today we're going to be talking about 5 tips on starting a dance team. And just to be clear, we're not talking about a dance studio here. We're talking about a dance team. Your own crew, your own family. A big baby that you'll hope to take care of time after time, year after year. But I mean, why even start a dance team? A lot of my personal best and most fondest experiences have come from dance teams in general. I think that it's a great way to meet new people, bond with your community. If you don't have a community yet, it's a great way to build one. Personally, I'm a big believer that creating a dance team does a lot more for the community than just joining a team. I mean, it helps build competition. That's just business 101. And honestly, there's only so much a community can do with just one team. So don't be afraid to get out there and let's begin. Tip number 1 is going to be knowing why you want to start a dance team in the first place. If you're starting a team, there should be a reason, even if it's a small reason. Are you doing it for fun? Or are you trying to make some money out of it? Maybe you just want to go to World of Dance or Prelude, Hip Hop International, or you just want to be able to build an opportunity for the people around you. And it doesn't have to be just one of those reasons or any of those reasons. Just know why you want to start a team. Knowing why you want to start a team will help everyone else understand what the team is about. Because let's be honest here, okay? The reason why you start your team will be a factor in who decides to come on your team. If you want your team to be competitive, then you're gonna get people who want to be competitive as well. You're probably going to weed out the casuals or the newbies. And if you want a casual dance team, you'll probably weed out the more competitive dancers. None of which is good or bad, wrong or right. It's just you and your team. And number 2 is to understand the goals of the team and set them. Setting goals is going to be important, and if you're making a team for the first time, odds are you might rush in without a goal. If you want to be a competitive team and tackle all of the big competitions around the country, well, guess what? They all have deadlines, and it doesn't matter who you are, new team or old team, they're not gonna move their deadline just for you. Set markers throughout the entire year. Maybe if you're starting in January, by March you want to have a choreography down. By summer, you want to have a whole routine down. Set your end goal, set your end goal, and then set all of these micro goals in between. Trust me, you're gonna want to be on track, because the moment that you become off schedule, it builds up to being a snowball effect. Before you know it, your season is done. Also, if you're making a team, then I'm assuming that you're also doing it for the long run as well. And it's important to understand that as you as an individual grow, both mentally and physically, so will your team. And as your team grows, so will its goals. Where does your team want to be in a year? Where does your team want to be in 2 years? 3 years? Where do you want to be? Eventually, as your team meets all of your goals, you become less content and you end up wanting more. So make sure that you and every member of your team understand the goals of the team. Because if people on your team don't understand the goals, trust me, you do not want to be in that situation. Tip number 3 is going to be start with friends. Honestly, friends are a great way to start a team. All the teams that I've been a part of have been with friends at the very beginning. Unless you're already some big name dancer, which if you are, thank you for coming to my channel, please subscribe. But ultimately, this channel is not for you. But please do subscribe still. But anyways, you're not just gonna hold an audition right away. It makes no sense when no one really knows who you are. And if you're gonna be making a team for the first time, no one knows what the team even is. You have no accolades. You have nothing to support a bunch of random strangers joining you in the first place. And odds are, if you're interested in dancing, you probably have a friend somewhere that is too. So now for step 4. You understand why you're making a dance team, you understand your goals of the team, and you have a few friends. Now we're talking about practice space. Because let's be honest, for a dance team, you are gonna need space to practice. Now here's the thing, it does not have to be at a studio. There's upsides and there's downsides to being in a studio. But if you're still young in high school or even middle school, use your school foyer. Use a community center. If one of your teammates has a big basement, use basement. And no, you do not need mirrors in order to dance with the team or rehearse or practice. A lot of us, we didn't have any mirrors when we first started. Mirrors are a commodity. It is a privilege to have a mirror. So don't feel like you need a mirror to be successful as a team, because you don't. But let's just say that you are ready for a studio now. Many studios now, if not all the studios, will rent for space, and their pricing will vary extremely. Some studios that I've hit up have offered space for $13 an hour or so, and others it was like for 5 hours it'd be $1,000. You know which one I chose. But whatever studio you choose, make sure you build a nice relationship with that studio. in the end, they want your money. And as the years go by, maybe a year after you're using that studio, you can probably bargain for a discount. That's kind of what me and my team did this year. But also know that when you have a studio, when you're using a studio now, you now have to pay money. So everyone on your team will have to be able to afford the studio. How are you going to handle the financials? How most teams usually start is they'll just take the total amount of the studio cost in the month and divvy up between everyone equally. And as a team grows, what you can start doing is changing from just splitting the bill into tuition, meaning that everybody pays a flat amount, enough to cover the studio, but also enough to gain some profits for the team. There are risks to both ways. Just dividing up the cost of the tuition monthly highly depends on the number of people. The more people you have, the less everyone pays. You're generally going to be asking for more money from everybody on the team. But then what happens when you don't have enough people and tuition itself is not enough to cover the rent? You'll run into those things every once in a while, trust me. Also be careful, really understand your studio. That's why I said it's very important to build a good relationship with your studio, because some studios don't like it when teams go the tuition route, because to them it sounds like people are coming into their studio to learn from you when you are only renting from their studio. So be careful. Studios can and will kick you out. And last but not least, number 5, you're gonna hate me because this is gonna be very obvious, but make sure you agree on a consistent practice schedule. Maybe you practice once a week on a Friday night, or maybe you practice twice a week. Whatever your practice schedule is, understand that practice is key. It builds dancers, it builds responsibility, it builds dance chemistry, team chemistry. The more practice you have, the more likely it is that you'll be able to accomplish your goals. And if you're missing people left and right every single week because they're not coming to practice, you might want to reconsider some things. Every big team out there has a very strict practice schedule, and if you want to be competitive as well, you'll have to have one too. Building good habits on a team is very rewarding. There you go, 5 tips to starting a dance team. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Please subscribe, and if you want, share the video with your friends. I hope you took something out of this. If you have any more advice or questions, please leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.